Topics, Dumb Comics. I'm here with Katie Zane. Katie, here to talk about medication.
Yeah.
All right. Where do we even begin? I mean, there's so much to discuss.
So I was thinking a lot about this before when I was on my way over here. That I guess it starts with the fact that I've like dealt with chronic illness since I was like really young. So I
Mm-hmm.
was diagnosed with arthritis when I was 15,
Yeah.
and I got diagnosed with my MS at 19. And so had to become keenly aware of my body like super super early. And I have a myriad of mental health issues that makes me hyper focused, and I have to like rapidly learn about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started having to like take pain medicine and like allergy medicine, and like I was getting sick more often because my immune system, so like Dayquil, Nyquil, all of that stuff, I learned a lot of how it worked and what interacts and how much you can safely have and all of that stuff. And that's sort of like where it came from. And like every job I've ever had, I am like the medicine cabinet. Like I like right
Mm-hmm.
now, I mean, I don't even actually have my normal bag got wet yesterday, but like my regular bag has like nausea medicine, several kinds of pain medicine in it.
Damn.
Like antihistamines, like
Yeah.
I always carry like almost everything all the time that anyone might actually need. And I know how to like give it to people safely because I've been taking it for a long time and it's all over the counter
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
So I was about to say, like, if I had a specific type of cold, I'm like, I have a headache that's like this, but not like that, and you're like, I know exactly the shit you need.
Pretty much, yeah. No, pretty
Okay.
much. I One of my going jokes is that in like an apocalypse situation, that like I could be a like unqualified nurse
Mm-hmm.
because of like how much I know about at least medication and the human body.
Yeah.
And because I just have that knowledge from being most chronically ill people like are almost doctors sometimes a little bit.
I was about to say, it sounds like you're like an amateur pharmacist.
Yeah, like and I know how things, and because I always and because it helps that I was a hypochondriac.
Mm-hmm.
And so the hypochondriac in me like always had to like, okay, how much can I take safely? How
Yeah.
often can I take it? I always read the directions and then I just remember everything.
Nice. All right. Well, I'm like, where did how? There's so much I want to ask about this because I'm
Yeah,
just
no, I'm
yeah. So obviously stemming from all the ailments that you have,
yeah.
and you gain this knowledge, I just like so is it solely based around the things that you particularly deal with, or do you also have like a more borderline knowledge of like other medications and what they can do for you know for people?
I know mostly with the stuff that has to do with myself, but like for example, like I don't have a huge amount of stomach problems.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know how like all the stomach medicines work.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to take them a lot. Like in fact, this actually came up recently. I was like in a there's a liquor store right by my apartment where I get like I really like super cold water, and I was picking up super cold water, and there was like this little old lady, and she walked up to me with like Imodium and Pepto Bismol,
Mm.
and she's like, "I want to poop."
Wait. So does she know you?
No,
She just
like she just like walked up and was like, "I need to know which one's gonna make it so I'm pooping," like basically.
that's all she
And
said.
it's like I just have like resting. I know the answer to this face. I don't. People think I work places all the time. People like I have this like weird thing about me where like people just assume that I know stuff because people ask me stuff everywhere I go
That
all the
is
time.
so funny because
Yeah,
I would interpret that situation as, oh, this woman is deranged
yeah,
and I need to avoid her. And
yeah.
the whole time she's just like, no, help me. And
Yeah, she literally was like, I don't know which one, and I said, I kind of like, okay, so you wanna you need to go,
yeah,
and then I was like, you want to take that one, and because I was like, if you take this other one, it's actually going to make it worse because this one's for stopping diarrhea,
yeah.
and that's the secret to
Sorry,
tummy
I'm
medicine.
still on this instance. I'm like, I want to put myself in this lady's mind where it's like, is she crazy or does she have to poop so badly but cannot that these are the only words that she can muster to come out of her mouth?
So her reasoning when she walked up was because even though I'm non-binary, I'm femme presenting, so most of the world just I'm a lady, and so she walked up and looked at the two guys, and actually the two guys behind the counter, I go there all the time, so like they know me,
Yeah.
and so she looked at the guy, she's like, the men won't know, you are gonna know. That was the reasoning of why she picked me versus the two fellas behind the counter. I mean,
Wow.
she was right. I did know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, call a spade, I guess. But man, okay. So, any other instances where you help somebody in a dire situation?
Oh God. I mean, over the years, it, it's I can't. It's hard to think of like a lot of specific stories. Like that one with the ladies like
Yeah.
happened recently, but like I've had like roommates that uh like I'm also like I've also been first aid certified over the years, so like I
Hmm.
also know how to like handle like emergency medical stuff.
Yeah.
And so like people be like, "Oh, I've got like this skin thing and what should I put on it?" And I'll be like, "Oh, you should, put, whatever it happens to be needed and stuff like that." But like I don't know. Like when I lived at a co-op, and it was all like young college kids, and like a lot of them were like away from their parents for the first time.
Mm.
And so like people would constantly just like come up to, like constantly be like, "Hey man."
You were like WebMD before.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like they'd be like, "Hey man, so like, I'm feeling this one." I'm like, "All right, so like take some time." So like one of the weird things I do, because of like all I know about over the counter stuff, is I don't, so like combo medicines like Dayquil and NyQuil,
Hmm.
I do not take those.
Okay.
I make my own.
All right. Shit.
Which sounds insane,
I was
like I'm
about to
some
say
kind of chemist.
let's brew it up, Breaking Bad shit. Over here.
But I know the ingredients that are in them, and I just take the ingredients separately
Hmm.
because I know what they are, and so I just take the individual ingredients
Hey,
because they're stronger when you take them
there
separate.
is coding in some cold medicines. Do they check your ID at the again
Oh,
at the Target
yeah, the
to make sure
Sudafed.
you're not make sure you're not making meth?
Yeah, because like I am a person that has to get like the pseudoephedrine, that's the real pseudoephedrine behind the counter.
Uh,
I'm in some system, and I don't buy it like all the time, but I'm in some system somewhere where like I have bought a certain amount of Sudafed where they're like, they've bought some
yeah,
Sudafed.
yeah. Wow. Okay. So yeah, a lot of people have gone to you with asking what they need. Um, yeah. So like, and this is just information you're willing to give out to people, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if they just come up to you, they're just like, hey, I got.
Oh
They just
yeah,
describe their symptoms, and you kind of help
yeah,
them out.
yeah. Pretty much everyone I've dated, I've like told them what to take when they're sick, because they know that I know what I'm talking about.
Hmm. Is
Um,
there a big difference between like generic and like you know name brand stuff?
Not really.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah, not a huge difference. I think like cough syrups like taste better when it's the like
So some
legit
more
stuff,
sugar.
but like they also like all taste like crap.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why I can't drink Jaeger.
oh, because it makes you think of cold medicine.
Yeah.
I tasted a White Claw yesterday that tasted like Dimetapp to me. It was like blackberry, and I was like, "This tastes like Dimetapp." I just no, thank you.
I hear like you could be like a alcohol connoisseur and just like, do I detect notes of Benadryl?
Yeah, I was like, I'm detecting a little tussin in here.
Yeah, a little Tussin. I love
Oh my
that.
god, that was like when well we're in the same generation, elder millennials, and so like when kids were like robo tripping. Do you remember when kids were drinking cough syrup to like robo trip?
Jesus, I feel like every other month there is some like the kids are getting high by choking each other and they're putting the tampons full of beer in their assholes and to get drunk. Like I feel like every other week or month there's some new way that children were horrible.
Yeah. I one of the reasons why I started learning about, I will say, because of the hypochondria, I started like learning the ingredients and exactly what they did, partially because of people using it to get high, I guess, because it
Mm.
like scared me. I was like, oh, I don't want to, because like have you ever accidentally taken too much cold medicine?
Um, I don't. Well, I took like a cold medicine in another country that I think was like the good shit. And I had like a show that night, and I got up like an hour before the show, and I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, it was just, I couldn't wake up. I could not wake myself up. I was at the show, and I was just like doing push-ups, trying to wake up, and I was like, I can't do it.
Oh my God.
I was so out of it. Yeah. I don't know if that was more the cold or the medicine, but medicine never like knocked me like an hour after
Was
I'd
it
waken
like,
up.
did you have like, was it a chest cold where you had like a cough, or was it like a head cold?
It's more like a head cold, but yeah, I don't know. I took some over the counter thing in like Poland, and they have totally different drug regulations and shit. You can get like prescription strength shit here over the counter there.
Yeah, when I was in the Middle East, in my opinion, the best cough drops I've ever had in my life were from Oman. They were the best cough drops, and I kept them for a long time because they were so good. Because they had like antibacterial. I don't know. They were just amazing. I loved them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny. It's weird that like the differences in different countries of like what is allowed and you know. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent here of saying like, oh, they trust normal people with so much different types of medicines and all this, but then like smoking over there is like, oh my god, don't you dare. Well, everybody smokes there. Sorry, I should back that up. It's now here. It's like the whole anti-smoking thing, but we'll put like fast food garbage into our bodies and no one gives a shit.
The amount of dirty looks I get actually for smoking like just like flower weed in public and smoking cigarettes is like crazy. Like and I'm like, what is happening? But yeah, no, it is weird how people like. Well, yeah, like okay. So the story I was gonna tell. So I used to work for Harley Davidson when I lived back in Virginia, and there was this like big thing, Rolling Thunder, the big motorcycle ride.
Yeah.
And we were like one of the places they would launch from to go up to DC, and I was really, really, really sick, and I took too much Mucinex, and so if you take too much cough suppressant, it's the cough suppressant that makes people drip, basically. If you take, this isn't a tip and don't do this, but if you take two 12-hour Mucinex too close together, like you are high. Like you are high. Like you are like the biggest, dumbest, like idiot on the planet high.
Is that what happened to Biden?
Maybe he's had too much Mucinex. They need to get him some Sudafed. They need to go the opposite way.
I was just thinking, I'm like, he said he had a cold and maybe he did that, and then he's like, whoa, what the fuck? I was like, whoa, where am I, man?
Oh, God. Everybody.
I'm in a debate. What the fuck?
I still want to. Well, like I didn't actually watch the debates, but I know that I heard that there was like a change in his like affect and his like flush in his face. Like they gave him something, and I'm just like dying to know. Like, I mean, what did they give him? Like a coffee enema? Like
I low key want to watch the debate with you now, just to see like you diagnose Biden. It's like he's on this thing, he's on that, he's on that.
Yeah,
man, that'd be so fun.
I can actually, that is actually another thing is I can generally tell what substances people are on because I know what the effects of things are.
Wow.
And because like not only am I like really, really well versed in like I know like over the counter and standard medicine, I know like illicit drugs too. Because my sister was an addict growing up, and so I just like learned about that stuff.
That would be such a fun like carnival game at like a music festival or something. Just I know what drug you're on.
Well, I think that you could sit at Power Hour and play that game because I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Like all the time.
Shrooms with a little weed.
Yeah, like definitely some uppers with that guy. That's definitely some cocaine.
Yeah, it's on ecstasy, not Molly. Ecstasy, bring it back.
I still, you know what? My elder millennial brain still doesn't compute the Molly ecstasy. Like, are they the same thing? Are they the same? Like I said, I'm just saying like I'm this big expert, but I'm like, are they the same?
So okay, so it's like illegal drugs are your blind spot.
yeah, that's my blind spot is illegal drug. Because like my understanding of Molly is it's MDMA and
but it's cut
and
with
ecstasy.
Like, it's cut with like I think actually like meth or something.
It's my understand like okay, so all right.
Something like that. I don't know.
Well, no, okay, so like, I like to experiment.
This is
yeah. I was like, how many things do I want to say out loud right now?
Getting into the.
Well, so I know I've like I haven't done Molly like a bunch of times. I don't really care for it. It's not my thing.
Mm.
But I know that like I've done it with people and they'll explain that it's like not overly cut with something,
Mm.
that it is more pure MDMA, but they're still calling it Molly.
Mm.
They're like, this Molly's super pure MDMA. And so like I don't know what that means and I don't really
Yeah.
understand. They definitely put in it like some kind of amphetamine in
Mm.
it. It's definitely like I guess they that just seems like a bad
Yeah.
amphetamine and MDMA because MDMA. See, the thing is, like, I
I'd
also
take your word for it. I'm like,
no, I
it all
know.
sounds like it shouldn't be going in you.
Well, like it's not. It's like I don't just like I understand like the science behind a bunch of it too. Like
Yeah.
I'm just a nerd, and I'm on the spectrum, and I just like
Well, that's what I was about to ask. Like, so, like, is Breaking Bad your shit, or?
Breaking Bad stresses me out, but I think it's fascinating. I think chemistry is fascinating. I think science is fascinating. Um, and yeah, it's like as I never, so I didn't do illicit drugs really until I was in my 30s.
Hmm.
Like I did not, I was kind of like a nervous Nelly when I was younger, and
Yeah.
but it was all about, I learned a lot. It was more like once I understood what things were going to do to my body and how I could do them more safely, then I was a lot more comfortable trying things that were like, illicit or not, maybe not safe, but if I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure I'm safe about it.
Yeah.
And it's the same way I feel about over the counter drugs. Anything you put in your body, it's about knowing all the parts of it. And because I was a hypochondriac, I was like, I need to know everything so that I can, and it's like I don't know how many times like someone's just like I've lived with someone or been around someone and they've just been like, hey Katie, how much Motrin? Or like a lot of people don't know that like Motrin and Advil and there's another one. Motrin, ibuprofen, and Advil are all the same thing.
Yeah.
And then like acetaminophen, Tylenol, all that stuff is the same thing. A lot of people don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've had people be like, "Which one is it?" Like I don't know because they know like the brand instead of the what the medication is. So that's always like
It's interesting. So, do you like look into any like upcoming, like, oh, they're doing clinical research on this type of drug or this medication? I don't know. Is that like a thing you're into?
not really. I do look up a lot of pain management stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also like really on the train of I don't think that drugs are the road to lifelong management. Let me try that again. I do not think medication is the road to lifelong pain management.
Mm-hmm.
I think physical therapy is, and exercise in general.
Yeah.
I think it's way better because it's really funny because when I was younger, and I relied a lot on like taking Advil to like be okay and all of that. It tore up my stomach. Like it's part of why I learned a lot about stuff. Like I really don't take Aleve anymore, naproxen, because I took it every day for years,
Mm.
and my stomach lining just like can't, and so I had to stop taking it. And then I've actually am on a path where I almost never take anti-inflammatories. That's the other thing. Is like I know the classifications of the medicines, NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. That's what NSAID
I'm
stands for.
telling you, you should be a pharmacist. Holy shit! Like, just your knowledge. I mean, did you go to school or?
I because of getting diagnosed with MS at 19, I dropped out of college, and then I tried to go back when I was in my 20s, but I didn't go back, and then I tried to go back to school like 3 times.
Yeah.
It's always been like a thing,
Mhm.
and the last time I was really gonna do it, I was gonna actually major in biology, because I really love. It's really weird because like I'm like a deeply creative weirdo, but I also have this like very like sciency
Yeah.
medical brain, and I'm fascinated by medicine and stuff. I didn't get a chance to graduate. Um, I guess I would love an opportunity. I don't know. I think
Yeah.
about this all the time because like I do a different kind of thing, a sort of side business that's very separate from what we're talking about, and like I'm like maybe I should go to school for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I do but I also like I love to help people. Like I come from a family of people who like to help people. Like my dad worked with special needs adults. My mom was a social worker. My mom retired and then kept working.
So for free.
No,
Oh,
she
okay.
got a really good contract.
Okay, okay.
But literally, like she does custody social work, one of the hardest jobs in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And she feels really duty bound to keep doing it because she likes to help people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I like to help people. It's why I like comedy. I like making people laugh. I like making people feel good. Um, and I guess I never figured out like uh, an avenue with like medical stuff that I liked
Yeah.
because I thought about like I never really actually thought about pharmacy specifically. I always thought about like nursing,
Mm-hmm.
caretaking, like being a certified nurse, or something. But I don't know. I don't know. I just like helping people, so I don't know.
Hey, maybe I just helped you figure out your life path.
Yeah, because like yeah, I know
Witch doctor.
way too many
There you go.
things.
You just skip all the schools, just witch doctor. Um, how do you feel about like like natural medicines or like I guess what people would sometimes classify as alternative medicines and whatnot?
So I am one of the okay because okay, this is okay.
I know, it's a
No, no,
big
it's
topic.
well because it's like I have to start in a place because it's like because I have a brain disease, I feel like I understand the power of the human mind maybe a little better than the average person. And one of the coolest things our brain does is psychosomatic. And so I believe that if you believe it's working, it's going to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that in lieu of some things being maybe scientifically actually real, sometimes it just works because the person believes it works.
Yeah.
So like if someone believes something's taking away their pain and somehow it takes away their pain, I'm like, I'm into it. And I've used like natural stuff. I always my term for it is I say woo woo, like woo woo stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like one of the things I do that's considered woo woo, but it's like I literally learned to do it through my physical therapist is something called cupping, where it's kind of like the pressure on the muscles, like the inverse of a massage, so it's pulling out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that believe that cupping,
Is that what I sometimes see people
like
walk
with
around with like
bruises,
yeah, like those
yeah,
round circular bruises?
that's from cupping.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, they look really gnarly. Like,
Yeah, I was like,
like,
the fuck happened to you?
yeah, they look really gnarly. But there's a lot of people that believe that there is a medicinal like benefit of doing cupping and
Mm-hmm.
doing cupping in a certain pattern on on your body. And like I don't know if I particularly subscribe to that, but it's again like I know this woman who I've known for like since middle school who lives out in Scotland. She she does cupping and it works really well for her and she feels better. So it's like I'm like I don't care. Like if even
Yeah.
like who cares if it's not real? Like that's why I don't know why people like crap on people so often and like give people a hard time. It's like no man, if it makes people feel better, let's do it. Like let's get into it. I actually just bought my own cupping set because for me, I've never found something to take knots out of my back as well as cupping does.
Mm.
It really like it's amazing. Like sometimes you just get like that gnarly little knot that like sits there and it's like
Yeah.
hurts for a little bit. That if you do cupping on it and then you do stretching around it, it will really help work it out really quickly.
Yeah.
It's really lovely, and it's like I can do that in lieu of taking a medication.
Yeah. I had I went to physical therapy once for like some pain that I had in my foot
Mm-hmm.
or in my ankle too, and then I remember one of the things we did was acupuncture. I never had acupuncture before, and holy shit, that was it hurt a lot. It really hurt. I was like, it's just this one little needle. She's just like, I'm gonna put this in your Achilles and just like give it a little twist. And I was just like,
Oh, that's
Jesus.
like micro. So she did like micro needling stuff. I've had
Yeah.
that done. I had that done on this leg because I've been having a lot of problems with this leg for a while.
And I thought I was just gonna, I've had tattoos before.
It
I feel
hurts
fine.
though. It's a
Yeah,
weird
I can
pain.
handle a needle, and wow.
It's almost like because I think the placement of where they put it. I'm pretty sure the placement is right. It's like your nerves.
Yeah.
It's going right into like where you're gonna feel it all the way,
Oh yeah.
100%. Because like all your see, I maybe I should have done that. I was like your epidermis, like I know that. Well, and when I was a little kid, like I said, I was a hypochondriac, and when I was a little kid, I used to walk up to my dad and I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, what's right here?
Hmm.
Like what organs?" And because we didn't have Google, this is in the 90s. This is before we could like look stuff up, and
Yeah.
we were not rich people. We did not have a great set of encyclopedias. I had to ask my parents everything I wanted to know, And
They just made it up as they went.
well, no, both my parents are both very smart people.
Hmm.
And they learned really on that I was kind of a different kind of kid.
Yeah.
And they my parents are really great. I'm really lucky for the parents I have, and they really adapted to like my weirdo-ness. And so they just my dad got used to the drill of, okay, all right, Katie, so yep, this is your liver and this is the pancreas, and like and my dad just got like used to like pointing out my anatomy to me because I was a nervous kid.
Hmm.
And I'm lucky because I have a good dad.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely great. I mean,
Yeah.
good thing it wasn't like that's your soul, that's where Jesus lives in your
Yeah, I
heart.
know, God.
You don't worry about it.
Yeah. No, I lucked out on two things. My parents are great, and I was not raised Christian.
Yeah. Good stuff in it goes in, and only bad stuff comes out of your body.
No, my parents rule.
Well, that's good that they were able to like support your interest in like anatomy and as an extension. Then did they also like kind of grow in your interest of medications and what different stuff?
Yeah, my parents got like they kind of like they learned that like I had to know everything about everything because of how nervous I was. And so
Mm.
like I would have to like know, like I was very nervous about any medicine they give me when I was a kid and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I like had to they were just like understanding of my anxiety when I was growing up, considering like I was never properly diagnosed with it when I was a kid. It was just like Katie's really nervous. So like we
Yeah.
didn't know. Like Katie's just gotta know all the information.
That's the 80s and 90s, man. Like
Yeah.
that back then, you just solved it by smacking them.
No, and back then there was no autism spectrum. There was just like severely autistic or you're fine.
Yeah.
And so like I was like this like smart neurodivergent kid who was like super weird and I was telling somebody yesterday about how I used to wear 70 SPF sunscreen
Jesus.
when I was like 12, and then I'd cover myself at the pool with towels because I was so scared of skin cancer. Because I was just like a ridiculous kid.
Cover yourself with towels.
It was
Just
no,
sunglasses.
literally, it was like it was literally, I like, or like I do the thing where like that little kid thing where I was like poking out like just like my nose and my eyes. It was. I think I overly apologize as an adult sometimes because I was such a demented child. And I'm so used to like
gotta sit down at the end of the night like, all right, we just gotta go with it.
and it's lovely because like I'm an adult now, and like my parents, I'm really lucky. Like my parents get me,
Mm-hmm.
and they can relate to me, and they understand who I am, and it's nice.
Yeah. Do you have any siblings?
I have a brother. I have an older brother and an older sister.
Okay.
And my brother is like the family guy. He's got like 4 kids, and he's married and like has a house and has done that kind of stuff. And my sister lives by herself in an apartment. And the other, the reason, not to put you throw you over, under the bus, Erin, because I know my sister's gonna watch this, because she's really supportive of everything I do. So I know for sure she's gonna watch. But like
Awesome.
she went through her own like challenges with drugs when she was younger, and one of the things she did. I can't believe I'm telling this story, but it's a good story.
All right.
She sat me down on the front porch of the house I just visited last week when I was visiting my folks. Sat me down on the front porch and decided to explain all illicit drugs to me and what they did and how they could harm you. It was actually like way better than anything I ever learned in Dare. Like I learned way more from like sitting on the porch with my sister, like really explaining like what angel dust was and what a speedball was to me.
Yeah.
And I was like 13. I was just a kid. But she just was like, but it's, you know what though? I didn't do drugs in high school. I did not smoke weed until I was older. I did not start drinking till I was older.
Yeah.
I did not start doing illicit drugs till I was older. Like, so I definitely like made better choices because my sister like allowed me to learn from her bad ones.
Yeah, I was a late bloomer on weed. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't because I was military and was doing all that. So,
Yeah.
I didn't smoke until I got out of the military. Technically, a little still in. But it was like the last 2 weeks, and I was like, they're gonna drug test me now. I'll take my fucking chances.
Oh my god, I remember because I grew up in Northern Virginia where Quantico is,
Mhm.
and so all of my Marines always all the time. And so when I was like young, and there was like young Marines all the time, I remember like I'd be with like these group of people, and this is like even before I smoked, but there was always like one or two active duty Marines that were like, I'm gonna smoke, and then like talking about how they were gonna get pissed from someone. Like it was, I was like, guys, like just don't smoke. And they were like, and they were doing like the short jaunt. They weren't doing the long jaunt.
So like they were reservists.
Yeah, well, some of them were reserves, and then some of them were active duty. But I can't remember, like whatever the shortest stint.
Okay.
I don't remember when you enlist. I don't.
Like 2 years.
Is it two? Like yeah. Because I was like, it's the shortest one, guys. Yeah. You can wait. I didn't understand it because I grew up around so much military. I didn't understand it. I just didn't get. Well, it's like all of it. Anything that I put in my body, so it's alcohol, all of that stuff. I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Like what are you guys doing?
So what? All right. Now I'm interested in your breakdown of like what actually goes on in a hangover, because I know like for some people there are different levels of hangover, and depending on what they drank, they have this type of hangover, that type of hangover, and then they have different solutions. Like my hangover cure is a smoothie and fried chicken.
Okay.
And that's like, I don't know if that actually makes it better, but it definitely makes me feel better after I eat all that bullshit. But I'm like, I want something with nutrients and it's cold, and then I want to have something like fatty and savory. So like, could you break down, I guess, what goes into like a hangover, and are there different like types depending on what you drank or whatever?
Okay, so this is a fun question for me because I'm 40 years old, and when I was very young, like everyone, I got horrible hangovers. I got like, for me personally, my worst hangovers was when I was like 23, 24. Mm-hmm. I know that's not the case for everybody. Some people, it's when they're older, it's worse. I will say when you get a bad hangover when you're older, it's like
really, when you're older, for me, it just feels like it lasts longer.
It's like instead of having a hangover for one day, I might feel crappy for like 2.5 days or something.
Yeah.
But so I actually have like a fairly like no fail proof way of drinking without having a hangover. And it's about what you eat or not eat, and about what you drink, of course.
Yeah.
I actually learned recently that White Claws are malt liquor.
Oh yeah.
So malt liquor is gonna make you more dehydrated. And definitely lend to like.
Got to get these white girls to drink Colt 45 somehow.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. They were like, okay, we're gonna dress it up, and we're gonna call it healthy, and we'll call it White Claw because they're. Yeah. So stupid.
You drinking Magnums.
So yeah, one of the tricks is don't drink malt liquor, don't drink cheap liquor, and drink. I think everyone knows to drink water while you're drinking. That's like a no-brainer. But you really should drink like a glass of water for everything you drink. Like you're just peeing so much, but it will keep your body, like it'll flush your liver. Because that's the whole thing, is you want to flush your liver. Because that's what's processing the alcohol, and then the pancreas is processing the sugar. So that's
what the pancreas does.
So our pancreas is it like processes it's really about like, it's about the insulin. People with diabetes like have pancreases that like are like not working correctly. Okay. Because it's about like, because we need insulin in our, this is one thing I don't know a ton about, is like I don't understand 100% insulin and blood sugar and like how all of that works. I just know that it's the pancreas that makes it happen.
Okay. Sorry for that side tangent.
Yeah, no, that's okay. And so when you're drinking, it's really important. So I have found, I drink a lot of, I do a lot of protein because of my MS, because it just helps my muscles repair faster. Mm-hmm. And I find like super high protein when you drink is really helpful, because I don't know why. It just feels like it helps break stuff down. And then the proteins like protect your stomach, and your gut, from the alcohol. And then wake up like an hour before you actually want to get up and take Motrin. Take like 800 milligrams of Motrin, and then go back to sleep, and then wake up, and then eat whatever is a hangover thing, and then you're gonna feel like, today I drank yesterday. I rarely drink now, and so the fact that I rarely drink, and then I drank yesterday, and I woke up, I felt fine this morning. Mm-hmm. And it's because I drank a ton of water, and I had a lot of protein, and I took an anti-inflammatory, and I was golden.
All right. So
And
water, protein, anti-inflammatory.
yeah, pretty much. And like there isn't a lot there isn't a ton you can do if you're like dizzy from a hangover. Like
Yeah.
there really you have to lay down. Like there isn't like a secret magic cure for that. Like you can take anti-nausea stuff, but
Yeah.
like most over-the-counter anti-nausea stuff is like crap.
Those are the worst for me. I'm like, I can take everything, like the tiredness and the whatever lethargy, but like the nausea, ugh,
Yeah.
I hate it so much.
Yeah, I pretty much like try to never drink to that end.
Yeah.
Like just because it's not worth it, and I just like ugh. And I don't want it's like you and it's like a game with the like with taking the meds. Like you're like okay, I want to take the like they pay medicine at the right time because like what if I throw up and I don't want to like throw up medicine. It's like so
Yeah.
annoying.
But
Ugh.
then, so it does change based upon like what liquors you drink or what alcohols you imbibe. Because I know like my worst hangovers have been the nights where I drank a lot of either stuff with a lot of sugar,
Yeah.
and then I mixed liquors. So did like I started with beer, then we took shots of tequila, then we had vodka cocktails, and then I had like a whiskey at the end of the night, and then it's like,
It's also sugar. Like if you minimize how much sugar you're consuming with your alcohol, that will also keep people from having a really bad response.
mhm.
Because yeah, it's definitely the sugars. Because like it's our pancreas and our liver that are processing it, and then they're like going to like overdrive because they're trying to process the liquor and all the sugar that's extra,
Yeah.
and so it's just like a lot, and then your body is like kind of like f you.
All right. I think we covered just about everything I wanted to cover today. So, any last minute things or tidbits, factoids you want to throw out about medications or bodies or anything really?
Well, I do want to mention that you can safely take it doesn't seem like you can because of how it works, but you can actually safely take Motrin when you're drinking. So like if you get injured when you're drinking, I broke my foot when I was drinking. And that's actually how I learned you can take Motrin when you're drunk. Because I used to, and also like in general, don't mix alcohol with
It's
over the
Benadryl that
counter
makes
med.
you racist. That's the
But don't mix over the counter medications with alcohol, like because it's generally gonna make you feel like crap or send you to an emergency room.
yeah.
Um, and I don't know, just don't be dumb.
Yeah.
Read the bottle. Like really, I know all of this because I minimally looked things up and I read the bottles.
You want to give the little disclaimer? Katie is not a licensed
Oh
doctor.
yeah, famously, I always say to people all the time, I'm famously not a doctor. Like famously
Yeah.
not a doctor, famously not
It's
licensed.
not medical advice, please. Do
Yes, yeah, I have to say that in sets sometimes because like I have stuff in my sets that sound like medical advice.
not. Yeah. All right. Well, Katie, thank you so much for coming
Yeah.
by. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.